Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Mitch McKee at Berry Farms Animal Hospital. Today we're going to be talking about cat wellness exams and things we look for. Our assistant's going to be asking us some questions as we go along to get you the most information we can.
Dr. Mitch, what is a cat wellness exam and what will a veterinarian be looking for during the wellness exam?
So a cat wellness exam is pretty similar to an exam you would get going to your own doctor. It's a standard physical exam. We do it a little bit differently. We start at the head and work our way to the tail. Typically we'll look at the teeth. We're looking for any signs of tooth decay or gum disease or any possible broken tooth, or is anything going on, ulcers in the mouth or the tongues, or things that may make us think that your cat's having trouble eating. Other things we look for past that would be moving on to the eyes and making sure the eyes look nice and clear and responsive to light, that we don't see any obscure areas in each eyelid, and that there's no scratches or anything like that on the cornea. We move on to the ears and we're looking for, is there any redness or wax accumulation? Are there any signs of irritation or discomfort? We do know that cats can sometimes have ear problems, and probably the most common known is ear mites, which is a parasite they can have. From there, we like to listen to their heart and lungs, and we like to assess how well is our heart beating. Is the rhythm normal? Does it sound like there's any fluid in the chest or anything abnormal in terms of the respiratory system? And from there, we move on to the abdomen, and we like to feel all the internal organs as much as we can, so that gives us an idea of, are they the right size and shape? Does anybody feel enlarged or do not feel normal as they would on a normal palpation? And then from there, we like to look at the skin, make sure we're not seeing any skin irritation. We also like to look for fleas and ticks. And it's always a good idea, if we can, to turn your cat over just so we can look at the belly, because we do sometimes find that cats will pull hair from their abdomen or they're licking on their bellies, and a lot of times the owner may not know that, but that could be an indication of skin irritation as well.
Will my cat's wellness exam require any specific lab work or procedures?
That depends upon whether there's a medical issue or not. Typically, when your cat comes in for a wellness exam, there may be some vaccines involved. There may be a fecal test taken to screen for internal parasites. If there's any medical issues, we may recommend some blood work.
When should I bring in my cat for a veterinary wellness exam?
It's important that your cat has a wellness exam at least once a year. That allows us to take a look and make sure we're not seeing any changes. However, for cats that are 7 years and older, it's best to have those guys looked at maybe twice a year, especially if they have some ongoing medical issue.
What are some signs and symptoms that my cat might not be feeling well?
So it's quite a wide array of signs and symptoms, and sometimes it can be noticeable, sometimes it's not. Probably the more common ones we see are lethargy, inappetence, being reclusive. If you have that cat that's normally socially active and interacting with the family, sometimes they're hiding under beds or in closets because they don't feel well. Also, symptoms such as limping, or all of a sudden having aggressive tendencies where they may have not had before. Any type of lump or bump that's come up that you haven't noticed. Any issues with chewing food or dropping food from their mouth. Those are all things that could indicate that there's a problem. And also, if we've had an accident or injury and we're holding a leg up, those are definitely obvious signs that things need to be looked at.
What are some possible environmental factors that can affect cat wellness?
I would say in terms of environmental factors, the one we see on a regular basis would be related to internal and external parasites. These would be your fleas and ticks, especially for our outdoor pets. We also know our outdoor pets can pick up internal parasites like roundworms, hookworms, those types of parasites. also depending upon where you live, depending upon if you had some chemicals put down on your yard. Sometimes those can be irritating to our pets' paws. If your cat lives in an environment where perhaps there's an owner that smokes, we do know that chronic exposure to smoke does irritate our cat's lungs sometimes. But I'd say parasites and just overall air and pollution in your environment is going to affect your cats similar to what they would affect us.
Why is early detection so important to the well-being of my cat?
Early detection allows us the best chance to prevent disease. It also allows us the best chance to mitigate any symptoms that go along with chronic illness. It gives us more time to formulate a game plan to make sure that we can give your cat the best quality and longest quality of life as we can possible. So if you have any questions about your cat and setting up an exam, or other questions about having your cat come in for an exam, you can always call us and let us know.